DuckTalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts.
Well, you messed up.
I literally haven't moved.
You didn't move fast enough before, and now our arch nemesis is onto us. Scrooge went and hid the dime in something called the other bin. This is all your fault.
Okay, you're mad, but at least the dime isn't on him anymore. We just gotta find this mysterious other bin thingy. You're welcome.
You just had to waste your time with Lecture Girl instead of sticking to the plan.
Using her was part of the plan.
Then use her already!
Okay, most of these are an artist rendering of the facts, but I drew them, so they're amazing.
Cool! Real quick, what's the other bin? Good, you've heard of it. Let's go.
It's the week of Friday, July 27th, and you're listening to episode 34 of DuckTalks. Hey there, this is Mitch. You're listening to DuckTalks. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me tonight, Prate Steven.
Ahoy there, Duckburg. Prate Steven here, but we also have someone else here with us.
Hey guys, I'm here too. Woohoo! This is Josh.
We constantly talk about having a lot to talk about, and it's become a joke around here because we always have a lot to talk about. But this week, like every other week, we have a lot to talk about. San Diego Comic-Con came, and man, I don't know that I was ready for all the news and all the excitement.
Yeah, it kind of hit you like a hurricane, especially this week. I mean, it's insane to keep up sometimes. It's such an exciting time for Duck fans and DuckTales fans and animation fans.
I wasn't sure how much news we'd actually get, but I felt like we got plenty of news to talk about tonight. Because
was there anything else
that they had on the panel?
Was there anything else at San Diego Comic-Con besides DuckTales? Because that was all my feed. I mean, I didn't hear much about Marvel. All I heard about was DuckTales.
At least on that day.
DuckTales and a Shazam trailer. That was it.
And the Clone Wars.
Oh, yes. And the Clone Wars. Sorry.
But that was the day before. I mean, it was kind of old news by the time we got to DuckTales. But that's okay. We're not talking about the Clone Wars tonight. We're going to talk about DuckTales.
Bobby Moynihan is going to be on the Clone Wars, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, he's got a brand new character on the new Resistance show.
Is it a recurring character?
Yeah, he's going to be a reoccurring character on that show. That's going to be... So, there's multiple projects going on at Lucasfilm. So there's going to be the Resistance cartoon, which is going to take place in between... I think it's pre-7, so it's between 6 and 7. So it's before The Force Awakens. And then we're also going to be getting the Clone Wars, which is going to be set before A New Hope, closer to 3. Or, I'm sorry, between 2 and 3. I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. Anyway, that's not DuckTales. I'm going to edit this out.
Get rid of that.
Let's go ahead and jump into news. We've only got so many hours tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's begin by talking about Sky Pirates in the Sky, because there's not a lot of news outside of San Diego, because that was all the news. That is news. I'll read the description. The description for Sky Pirates in the Sky says, feeling ignored, Dewey finds a new family, a band of singing and dancing pirates looking to rob Scrooge blind. You know what? I don't have it in the notes, but we had some more information about this episode come out in the San Diego Comic-Con free issue of Entertainment Weekly. They have a one-page... It was one page, wasn't it? A one-page spread.
No, that's being generous.
So there was these 2 paragraphs, and there was a lot of images around it. But that's how Entertainment Weekly works. Did I tell you about trying to find the solo issue for that?
Yes, but go ahead, tell the audience.
Well, I'll tell the audience. So I traveled over 200 miles not looking for this issue, but I was traveling over 200 miles, and I stopped a few times along the way, could not find it. Took me 3 weeks to find it, and then it literally was like 4 pages. I was so disappointed. I said, I'll never buy another issue of this again. But we do really appreciate them covering DuckTales. And, you know, we talk about this a lot. There's still people out there that don't know the show exists. And Entertainment Weekly has, I would imagine, based on the content that they're constantly providing, they have a lot of people who do read their magazine. And so there's bound to be some people that have read it at Comic-Con that didn't even realize there was a panel going on.
Wasn't it that I thought I saw a tweet about how people were going to the DuckTales panel at Comic-Con and didn't even know there was a season 1 out, but they happened to like see it at Comic-Con.
Yeah, they know now.
Yeah, there was someone in line who said the person behind them didn't realize it was a new show. They thought they were in line for something for the old 87 show.
Are we talking about Sky Pirates in the Sky, or are we talking about San Diego Comic-Con?
No, we're going to continue talking about San Diego Comic-Con because I think it permeates everything we could talk about. That issue of Entertainment Weekly, we did have someone send us some information about what was in there, and Frank was interviewed by them, and they said, and not they, he said that Don Carnage, so this is a little bit of a spoiler for this week's episode, so skip 10 seconds if you don't want to hear it, or you know, I'm talking, so it's probably 20 seconds. Don Carnage has a band of pirates, and what they do is they go around and they put on a show in order to get everyone's attention, and then they rob you while you're paying attention to the show. So all of the dancing and singing and the air, you know, the planes and everything, it's all just a con.
You can't trust a pirate. I mean, I happen to be a pirate and happen to know pirates, and we do love to sing and we love to dance and we love money. So I mean, all that does make sense.
Yo ho, yo ho.
A Sky Pirate's life for me. So, yeah, I mean, at a wedding, I could dance it like there's nothing there's doing tomorrow. And I can sing. You'll see that on Carpool Karaoke. I keep talking. I'm going to do that.
Are we still doing that?
We're doing it. We're doing it as soon as I can get around to doing it. But it's going to be fun.
The episode sounds great. We've been looking forward to this. I mean, we've got Don Carnage, we've got Air Pirates or Sky Pirates. It's a Dewey-centric episode, so you know I'm happy. Any guesses? Because you know we're going to have a side story about somebody else. Any guesses what's going on? Maybe the other brothers are trying to get to Dewey to bring him back, or I'm sure it's not Webby since this past week's episode was Webby-centric, or it could be Webby. What do you guys think? Just guesses, just for fun.
And we know, or we'll talk about it later, but they showed that season 1 ending trailer of the last 4 or 5 episodes, and they have I think Donald shows a map of Cape Suzette, and I believe I think when Webby said something like they're moving, and there's some Webby and Launchpad type adventure that stems from that. So I don't know if they're moving to Cape Suzette or if that has anything to do with the story. I'm just saying they showed a Cape Suzette brochure with Baloo's plane on it.
I would think it would deal with all of his brothers trying to, like, they realized, oh, we weren't paying attention to him, and we want to get him back, kind of a thing. That's what I kind of see. And then also what Pirate just said. So probably the other 2 brothers, and then Webby and Launchpad, I guess, and Donald.
I think Launchpad, definitely. I see that storyline continuing to develop. We're going to see more of that friendship, and Launchpad gets a little protective of Dewey ever since they found out they were mole men together, or mole monsters together.
He's his best friend, right?
Right. As far as the San Diego Comic-Con footage, I think so. There's been some descriptions, and we haven't always reported on them because you just don't know where they come from or how truthful they are. There's one of those descriptions that are floating out there for the last crash of the Sun Chaser, I think it explains the whole Cape Suzette storyline in that Dewey will confront... Oh, another spoiler, 10 seconds. It's not really, because it's kind of a guess. Dewey will confront Scrooge about Della, and there'll be a falling out, which kind of leads to, saying that this goes along with it. The scene with Scrooge laying around in his dirty undershirt, pulling pizza out of his shirt, and the family split. And so the boys and Donald are leaving. They're moving. They're leaving Scrooge behind. And that's what's going to lead up to the final episodes. I think that very much could come true. I think Sky Pirates is going to have just a fun story with Dewey off on his own, deciding that hey, look, I like to sing and dance. These guys like to sing and dance. I could totally live like this the rest of my life. And then maybe Launchpad and I'd say the other brothers. It would be fun if Donald comes along too, because everybody's going to be in trouble. Just seeing those interactions, I think that could be fun. I think these descriptions, I don't know where they came from, but man, they have really panned out this season.
Yeah, what do you think of? So obviously the big controversy, not too big of a deal for us, but Jim Cummings is not the voice of Don Carnage.
For me, it was a letdown initially just because I was excited to have Jim involved, but it really does make sense. I mean, there's a ton of reasons. We've got Frank speaking on it for Frankly Speaking, but you also mentioned earlier when we were talking that Jim's actually a little busier than they may have even planned on him being, in that he may have picked up another role in the Christopher Robin movie. Yeah,
back when Christopher Robin, the big movie that comes out in August, was announced, he was doing the voice of Winnie the Pooh, but not Tigger too. So, and he was been doing the voice of Tigger for quite a while now, and it seems like they were just trying to get big names out there to do different voices. And in May, I guess they started showing more trailers and saying that Jim Cummings is the voice of Tigger now. So he probably had to re-record all those lines for Tigger. So who knows? Maybe he's a little busy doing that. But yeah, he's got a lot of work coming to him nowadays.
You would think though that they have him there for recording Darkwing Duck for the previous episode, that they would have had him there long enough just to record another episode's worth of the voice lines, but I don't know.
Based on what our friend Jason was telling us when he was on the podcast with voice actors, it kind of sounds like maybe the way that the it's not their union. What is the Actors Guild? Is that what it's called? Voice Actors Guild? That could totally be wrong. I don't know. I'm not in the industry, obviously. But the way that they're paid, it kind of sounds like it might have some kind of episode stipulation to it, that it's not just how long or how much, but it may also be, the credit. Maybe they get paid so much for the credit for the episode or something. I don't know. I can tell you, I really like Frank's answer to this. He was asked on Tumblr, and if you don't follow Frank on Tumblr, he's on there all the time answering questions, a lot more often than Twitter. And I go on Tumblr just to creep on Frank. And so this week's Frankly Speaking, he was asked, so how come you guys could get Jim Cummings to reprise his role of Darkwing Duck and not Don Carnage? And Frank says, because we are a globe-trotting show, our casting ethos on DuckTales has traditionally been whenever we encounter someone of a different nationality, we try to cast someone who is actually of that nationality. See Toad Leo High, Saboff from Tothra, and etc. Jim is a legend. I hopefully don't have to point out by now how much I love Jim and his repertoire of characters. He's incredible in everything he does, and you will be seeing, all caps, a lot more of him from us in the future. But for this particular role, it seemed like an opportunity to bring a new actor into play. And if you've seen Jaime in anything, you know he is a delight, bringing his own lovable brand of egomaniacal machoism to the role. So I love this answer, and I knew they were doing this with other roles. They were making sure that when there was a nationality involved, it was represented in the show, and not just someone, doing an accent or trying to imitate something. Because, back in '87, I mean, you go back and watch some of those shows and some of those characters, and it just wouldn't fly today. No pun intended. But I love, and this cast, not the cast, probably the cast, but this crew, they're very focused on making sure that, DuckTales is very inclusive. They don't want to, they don't want to disfranchise any of their viewers. They want to include, everybody. And I like the way they're going about this whole topic, because you've got a globe-trotting show. One of the main focuses in the theme song is about, these these adventures all over the world. And they want to make sure that they're using, authentic nationalities, or authentic voices for these nationalities. And I like that.
So what nationality is Don Carnage?
I'm glad you asked that, because I actually have it on my Google right now. According to the Don Carnage Disney Wiki page, Jim Cummins in an interview said, when asked about Carnage's nationality, Jim Cummins said he's got some Cuban and some Spanish and a little Ricky Ricardo in him.
Okay.
So you kind of get some of the influence that Jim was going for when he was doing the character. And I love that Frank's willing to just go all in on that and to find someone who can embody that character. I think it's going to be great. And I get why people are upset. I mean, everybody loves Jim Cummings, including Frank Angones and Matt Youngberg.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. I mean, people need to get used to change, and I think this is a good change. One thing that people are asking about in the promo is it doesn't look like Don Carnage has a tail in any of the scenes, because you could usually see his tail from, not that I'm looking at his tail, but like you could see his tail from the classic Tailspin. I like how we had classic DuckTales, now we got classic Tailspin.
I'm all about needing to call it classic Tailspin.
Right?
So you said that we're going to get more Jim Cummings. Is that a hint for more Darkwing?
It has to be. I mean, it could be other roles as well, but I think with Frank, I think they're going to use Jim for Darkwing. And that's very exciting, especially since last week, kind of brought up the conversation of, what's the chances that, the Jim Starling Darkwing isn't the Darkwing, that we'll see throughout DuckTales. Maybe he was the influence of the Darkwing that we see in DuckTales. But based on this statement, I don't think that's going to be true. Maybe he's got a little bit of whatever's keeping Scrooge young in him. But, he totally could be. I mean, so just thinking about that for a moment, let's say he was fairly young when he was doing the Darkwing show, and then now he's retired and he's had a family. He adopted it, I don't know, a daughter. It'd kind of work out.
Yeah.
And then she finds out you used to be, she would know that he was on a television show because he wasn't a real superhero. But anyway, it could be fun. Who knows what they're going to do? They've got plans. They're going to use him. We've known that for a while. I know Tad Stone's talked about it a little bit as well. He's excited about their ideas. He's not telling us what they are, but he's excited about what their ideas are. And if Tad's on board, I'm on board. Let's talk about Duck merch. Nobody wooed.
Well, you have it on recording, right?
Duck merch, woo.
It's kind of more fun to use the live one.
Duck merch, woohoo!
I'm going to create those into an echo or something for this one, if I have time. So, hey, Steven, Pirate, buddy,
Yeah.
You wrote a blog about all of the releases for this week. Why don't you tell us about it?
I did write a blog. So, yeah, it's a pretty big week for not the usual Duck merch that we're used to. No new toy releases or anything like that. We do know that the classic Tailspin Funko Pops and Gargoyles are starting to show up in stores, which is pretty cool.
Hey, are they everywhere?
I went to I saw them at a GameStop and a ThinkGeek. I was trying to chase down that King Louis chase figure, which somebody else must have got to it before me. I think it's like a 1 out of 6 rarity, and I found one that had 5. So probably the one that was missing was the chase one. But yeah, my plan was I was going to get a King Louis figure, Funko Pop, and then meet Jim Cummins down at the Tampa Bay Comic-Con, but he unfortunately had to cancel. But I can understand it because it's the same weekend that Christopher Robin comes out, so he's probably going to be busy doing something else. But that was my plan anyway. But Duck merch this week is we're going to be talking about some media releases that are coming out. So our friends at Fantagraphics are coming out with their latest volume of the Don Rosa Library. Of course, our listeners and the people that follow us on Twitter know that we're going to be reading through the entire Don Rosa Library just to get up to date on all of our Disney Duck comic knowledge. And Volume 9 comes out this week on Tuesday, July 24th. And this is the main story that's in a cover, and in this volume is Three Caballeros related, and it's called The Three Caballeros Ride Again. And that everybody knows those characters are very hot right now because of that show that might be coming to the United States next year on the streaming service
and San Diego.
Yeah, and so it's that. That's they didn't plan it. Fantagraphics didn't plan it that way, but perfect that this release is coming out this week. I think a lot of people, and I know at least one person on Twitter said that they were picking it up because of the Three Caballeros. So great release of that coming out this week. We'll have a review on that. Also, non-Duck related merch. This is a Gravity Falls graphic novel, which is supposed to take place sometime after the series, and Dana Terrace from DuckTales actually illustrated a lot of this book, so that's how we get it back to DuckTales. But that's coming out also on July 24th, as well as the Gravity Falls complete series on Blu-ray, which I'm so excited about. The fact that this series, a Disney series, is coming out, an animated series that complete on Blu-ray with special features. This is the one. This is like the first major one, and hoping that they sell enough of them so that Shout Factory can maybe get the license to do more mega releases like this. Because I actually got my copy today, and I popped in this one. It looks fantastic on the screen, just like I saw it when it was originally released. Plus, all the bonus features. There's audio commentary in every episode, so I'm gonna have to watch all the episodes and then with the audio commentary. And I love that I have this in my collection. It's kind of gonna pave the way for other series. We hope more, maybe classic DuckTales or current DuckTales or classic Tailspin. Who knows?
Yeah, that's for the Disney afternoon. There's a lot of complaints out there because not all of the episodes have been released, and Disney has in the past done these volumes that really were like the most popular episodes, or the episodes they thought would be the most popular. They're not in any type of chronological order. I think the second volume of DuckTales has the pilot episode, launch pads and all of it. So, I mean, it's all very confusing. It would be great to get a set just like this for DuckTales, both old and new. And that's what we're hoping for. And, of course, we're fans of Gravity Falls. We've enjoyed the show. So these are some great releases. And, man, the 24th is a...
Yeah, it's a lot.
Hope everybody got paid that week.
Yeah. We're gonna have reviews on all those products, but Yeah, if you're a fan of Gravity Falls, it's great as a blind buy as well. But yeah, I hope you're right. I hope people get paid so they can buy all this stuff.
One thing we actually meant to talk about last week in Duck Merch, and we didn't get around to it somehow, was the Target toys that were released from Fat Mojo. They were pulled from the website from Target.com. And because there was some issues, we had a lot of people on social media telling us that they were trying to order them online. We checked it out too and saw the same thing. With the figures, you could not order them individually. You could only order, the 8-inch, and then the kids are 6 inches. You could only order an 8-inch figure or 5 8-inch figures, but you couldn't pick which one. And so they've been working hard to fix that. We'd heard from Fat Mojo that they were working to fix that. When I bought my figures, they all had a sticker on the back barcode. So we were, we did a blog on it. We were assuming that was part of the process of fixing them. It looks like it was. So they gave them all their own individual, was it DCPI? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they have each individual DPCI so that they can, so people can pick wherever they want, which is great. Doesn't leave any surprise or return orders or anybody being upset.
But they're not on the website yet. They are on the Target app. However, you can only order them for pickup at the store at the moment. You can't order them for delivery. So they're still working through that. I'm sure they've got a lot of figures to go through and change this in the system. There's been some questions as to whether or not that's going to impact the stock numbers when you check online, and I don't see how it couldn't. I mean, if they've been selling them and now the barcode code has changed, then trying to keep up with that would be a nightmare. So I think it's just going to take some patience on our part. I have a feeling that Fat Mojo has made a lot of these. I think they're going to be out there. It doesn't mean they're going to be out there forever. I wouldn't wait on sales. If you find it, I'd buy it if you want it. But yeah, it's just and we still don't think that the rollout date has actually come. I think these got released a little early.
Yeah, there's a lot of stores that still haven't got anything in stock. I know with mine, when I look online, it says that they're not sold in these stores or out of stock. And I've actually talked to one of my local Target employees, and they said that in their system, it shows that doesn't show that they're getting them in, but it shows that if they do get them in, they will, they have a specific place for them. And so once they get them in, they put them in that place and before they get put out. So I think they have an idea that they're going to come. I just don't know exactly when.
And from what we've seen online on social media, every Target's going to get them. I don't think that's in question. So they'll be there eventually.
Yeah. And I found that some Targets, I happened to go to one today, and when I went there, they had some of the merchandise, but not all. They had, like, I think the money bin and then the group figure pack of all of them, but they didn't have the individual figures or the mini figures yet. So they're
Did they have the
slowly
Sun Chaser?
coming. No, just the money bin.
We've seen a lot of reports online of stores with the money bin and the Sun Chaser, and not having any of the action figures.
Well, they probably sell out. I mean, they're not at all the stores around me, but I've gone on a bunch of different Target runs just to see what I can find, and it seems like Scrooge McDuck figure is probably the most popular. I've seen a lot of Glomgolds on the shelf, so obviously the people don't watch the show because they don't know that Glomgold is the show.
He's obviously the most valuable figure.
He is. Oh man, I just want to buy all of them up. And then for the plushes, I wish I would have recorded. So they all have really fun sounds. And Scrooge McDuck was the one that was missed. Like they had a couple of boxes of the plushes, but Scrooge McDuck was the one that was missing from those. We'll try to get all the different sounds that they make in a future blog, but really cute. And then they had them. I found a bunch of them, the money stackers, and all of the. I was gonna try to buy some extra Darkwing Ducks for some friends and for you guys, and there was no Darkwing of the 4 boxes that was there. So someone had been picked through all of these. Probably read my review on how to find Darkwing, but yeah, he was gone from all the boxes.
Yeah, that's one of the items that keeps showing up as not being sold in my stores. So I'm hoping that, after the actual date rolls around, that, we'll see them. And maybe the website will be updated. Because we were saying we thought it would either be the 22nd or the 29th. So we'll see. I actually haven't checked today, so who knows? Maybe they're there now. I should do that when we get done. Well, let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So I had a plan for this because last year I was able to find someone who had their phone out and recorded San Diego Comic-Con DuckTales panel 2017. So that was pretty exciting. Wait a minute, that's not right. It was the New York Comic-Con, wasn't it? Because San Diego's where they first showed Darkwing, wasn't it?
San Diego was. They also had a D23 one. Okay,
it was the D23 one that I saw live from someone's phone, and they were really nice. I was chatting with them during it, but no such luck this year. I got home pretty early from work, and got set up so that I could watch it. The girls were excited because they enjoy watching the cast. That's one thing that's really fun about this show. The cast, they have a good time together. And so anything they're all in is always fun. We weren't that lucky, but we were able to find some people who were tweeting about it live. So we were following along with them. If you follow DuckTalks on Twitter, we were retweeting everything that we found that we thought was interesting. And then, of course, as the information was coming out, it was really cool because you'd see a tweet about something, and the next thing you know, Entertainment Weekly would have a tweet with an article about it. Or I don't remember who all was doing it, but the timing was perfect.
Yeah, well, Inside the Magic dropped today on YouTube. They were in the front row of this thing, and they videoed the entire panel. So everybody should check our Twitter because we retweeted it, but also on YouTube they have the entire panel, which is just an absolute joy and blast to watch because the cast is so humble and great and interacting. They were just on point for this. So they were excellent. And you were just talking about Entertainment Weekly. You just seem to be magically have all the articles. It seems like Entertainment Weekly ran this panel because the host was from Entertainment Weekly. So
that's right. I forgot about that.
They had all this ready to go.
So, and I didn't realize that Sean Jimenez was there. He's the art director of the show. So he was the one next to Frank and Gomez?
Yes.
That's cool. I'm looking at Inside the Magic's tweet right now because I did a blog, so there was way too much information coming out for us to try and blog about everything all at once. And one thing we like to do on our website, the news is out there. We realize you can get the news off Twitter. You see things as they break. That's why we're on Twitter trying to share as quickly as we can. What we want to do with the blog is we want to share our thoughts and create conversation. So we want to put a little more thought in to these blog posts rather than just saying, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. That's what Twitter's for, right? I'm just looking through the blog that we put out. So basically what I did on Saturday morning is I sat down with the Twitter, I sat down on Twitter and went back to when the panel started. And I picked out some of what I thought were the best moments and the most, the information that I thought was the most exciting, and just kind of put it all in one blog, so you could go through and scroll through kind of a timeline of what happened without going through everyone's reactions and everything, which is fun too. I had a good time doing it, but I thought it was cool that laughingplace.com was another site that was on top of it for this panel. They had a great seat. They didn't do a video, so that I've seen, but Inside the Magic had said that night they were going to. let's get to. I'm trying to scroll down to the first big news, and that was IGN actually was the ones to report on the sizzle reel, because there were some leaked images, some leaked video of the sizzle reel, and we were all excited about that. And I was talking with people online about it, and then just a few moments later, IGN posted the video. And so you can watch it high definition, or good quality anyway. And man, and this sizzle reel was the end of season 1. What'd you guys think about it?
It was very dramatic and fantastic. So it looks like the next few episodes is a lot of stuff is going to unhash, and it's going to be great.
I know I was pumped seeing all the stuff going on, and one of my favorite scenes, and I think probably all of ours, is when they're on the plane and there's the music for DuckTales with the credits, and they start jamming to the music. I don't know, that was my favorite scene.
It was Darkwing.
Yeah, they're jamming to the music of Darkwing.
Yeah, that was, and Paisley, who's my big Darkwing fan, she perked up. She was like, wait a minute, I know that. And the kids just, kind of singing along to it, and Dewey freaking out because whatever's going on, he's tired of waiting. That was a great scene. I can't wait to see the context of that scene.
But it was actually, yeah, like Steve said, there's a lot of stuff in there that, I can't really wait to see what's going to happen, because there's a lot packed into that little sizzle reel, and there's only a few episodes left, so it seems like there's going to be some pretty intense episodes.
Yeah, some of the Lena and Magica stuff was actually from the episode we got treated to this past weekend, so we got to see a little bit of that unhashed, and then the very end where we get to see a glimpse of Magica's eyes and her in her human form, which I hope I'm not giving too much away, but it's very impactful. And she says something like, "Hey, Scroogey." I can't wait for that to actually happen in the show, and I'm hoping that she's still around after the finale, because she's a great villain to keep around for other stuff. I mean, they got a whole stable of villains now, and they can create new ones, but she's a great one. So hopefully she doesn't go away completely after that last episode.
And from what we've seen, I know it was a close-up picture of her, but from what we've seen, her eyes kind of make her look like a kind of a crow too, less of a duck to me than the others.
Yeah, she's a green duck too, which is different. It looked great. The one, of course, Launchpad has the best line in the sizzle reel, where he says, "Sorry to crash the party," when he's in the plane.
Right.
That was great. That was so funny. And so we got that video, and there's actually 2 more videos. One of them was a season 2 about the first 4 episodes that was just for San Diego Comic-Con, and the people have shared descriptions of what that is, but no one's allowed to leak that out, so we haven't seen that. But the other one is that Don Cheadle is going to be the voice of Donald Duck in the finale episode.
And the internet lost its mind on this news.
That was hilarious, and no one expected that either. There was an episode where Donald Duck in like an animated short got like a real voice when he was going on a date with Daisy, because he took a pill. Same thing, kind of like what happens in this episode. He gets a pill that they call the Barksian pill. So it's a Carl Barks.
Because Carl Barks, Donald spoke regular. Yeah,
he spoke totally fine, and so we got treated to that. You can find that video on YouTube, and it's funny because it says Don Cheadle's name, and it says actor and says Thanos Survivor.
Right.
Really, really funny. And then in the panel, there's a funny story about. So Ben Schwartz actually worked on a project with Don Cheadle before, and he said because they were talking about we need to get. I wish we could get like an Avenger to voice Donald in this last one. And Ben's like, all right, I'll text Don Cheadle, and he said to get him to make sure he would do it. He included Don's kid on the text. So that he wouldn't be able to say no. So
that's awesome.
It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I thought it was. I think it's funny, and we experienced this sometime with the site and people contacting us. But I think it's funny how often people will read, the title of an article, but they won't, actually read the article. So there were so many people on Twitter going, wait, what about the guy who's been doing his voice? Why would they get rid of him? Oh, they're just adding a big name actor, another big name actor. And it's like, read the article. Because it looks like it's only going to be for this episode, right? I mean, I don't think it's planned on a permanent change.
No, I'm sure it wears off at some point. And then knowing Gyro,
that's what I was going to say.
Turn evil at some point.
Turn to an evil voice.
It was nice seeing Little Bulb and Manny and everyone in all of those clips. It's an exciting clip. You need to check it out if you haven't looked at the sizzle reel.
It seems like a forced ship by Frank of Manny and Little Bulb.
It's his dream ship, right? Isn't that what he said on Tumblr?
Yes, he did.
He had everybody guessing at it, and it was Little Bulb and Manny. So one of the more probably, that's everything we've already talked about was big news for the show. But then they decided to do something that they've done before. And back in San Diego last year, they accidentally brought up some images of characters that were going to be in season 1. And it included Darkwing and all of Darkwing's rogues and other characters that got everyone excited. And no one was prepared for it last year because the only images we got were Darkwing and the Ratcatcher. But reports were that, Bushroot and Liquidator and everyone. Or was it Bushroot? It seems like they did say Bushroot, but he wasn't in the episode, was he?
No, it's probably Quackerjack.
Maybe it was. Yeah. So there was a lot of characters that were said to have been in that reel. Well, this time, not only did they share a reel like that again, but Entertainment Weekly had the scoop. So they'd done that in the past. Well, this year people were ready, and there are videos online that you can find. And Entertainment Weekly, which Pirate mentioned, was kind of sponsoring this event, posted an article about probably the biggest news of the day was that the three Caballeros will be making an appearance in DuckTales.
Yeah, they. So we probably. Do you have a list of ones we can just go down the list of all the characters that are in it?
Yeah, let me bring it up.
Three Caballeros definitely got the greatest response from the crowd, and even the voice actors ran off the stage into the audience to freak out with everybody.
And it's the same voice actors as the show, right?
No, it looks like there's different ones.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't have those images ready.
I know I'm off.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah. Let's go.
So So Panchito as well, instead of having guns in his holsters, he has cell phones.
And he's got two.
Yeah, he's got to have two cell phones. You got to have a work phone and a regular phone.
He works too hard.
Yeah, so that everybody is so pumped about. I'm telling you, the Three Caballeros craze, hype train is ridiculous right now. So everybody's excited about that. I think the first characters they showed will look like we might be getting a Christmas episode, like a Scrooge's Christmas Carol, and it looks like the three ghosts from A Christmas Carol.
I don't think I saw those.
I didn't see those.
Oh man, y'all need to.
I saw the Prospector images where Scrooge and Goldie. Who else was in that image? Because Scrooge has got Stinky Pete clothes on. He looks like he's wearing the same outfit.
Well, yeah,
Stinky Pete.
he looks like it's gonna be a Klondike, or some kind of flashback episode. It's got to be time travel because Fennon's there as well.
Yeah, Fenton.
And Gizmo Duck has like some steam.
Yeah.
Steampunk. Yeah. And I do have, actually, in that article, there are some of the images. I don't have the Christmas ones.
I didn't even see the Christmas ones.
But
I'll find him and text it to you real quick.
Was that when, is his name pronounced Feathery? Feathery?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I just did.
You just did a blog. You don't know how to.
I just did a big old blog about it, but I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you just read some things and you don't have to say them until you're on a podcast. And then you're like, oh, crud. So there was also the image of the new younger female character. She was on a slide with Webby and Lena.
Yeah, she looks like she could be relative to Mark Beeks.
Ooh, you're right. And then, of course, we had Miss Beakley in Darkwing attire.
Yeah, that got a big applause from the fans.
And something on that, Joe Caramagna was busy because he was on a family trip to Walt Disney World. And so he wasn't there, but he commented on this image and said, oh, so now that proposal that I made that didn't go through, it totally makes sense why you didn't do that. And Frank responded with, yep, or something like that. He just confirmed.
So which one? Which picture?
The image of Beakley in the Darkwing.
Oh, Beakley in the Darkwing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so something about that Joe's proposal wouldn't have worked for it. So something in the comic. So that's interesting. Maybe he proposed they did.
Yeah.
We also see an image of a new lady that is supposedly the new head of Glomgold Industries.
Yeah, that was interesting. That's where the video that I saw started.
I didn't see that one either, I don't think.
And it did seem like they were in mid-sentence when that video starts, the one that I saw. So I could see there being some stuff before there that I missed. There was an image of one of the characters from, I think Frank confirmed he's from the DuckTales movie, right?
Yeah, one of the guy that hangs out with the genie.
Yeah. I can't think of his name. It's been a while since I've watched that movie.
Yeah, and Frank says that the three ladies, which is Webby, Lena, and the Mark Beeks looking girl, are going to go up against that guy from the DuckTales movie.
So,
and the new girl is supposed to be like a new friend, right? Of theirs, or is it like a recurring character friend, or is it just a one-time?
No, it looks like a friend. Who knows? Yes, let me see. I'm still looking for the Christmas picture for y'all. And then we got John
Rocker Duck.
Yeah, Rocker Duck is another one that.
Yeah, you don't have all these pictures on the thing. I only have
Rocker. The map that we had, the map that we've got at the beginning of the season for Duckburg includes, and I just had it up, there it is, included an area called Rocker Duck Estates. So I'm not familiar with that character at all, but I know a lot of people cheered when he came up during the panel, and I've seen a lot of interest. I'm going to have to do some, and I just realized that on this map, there's a sea creature in the bay, and he's got Glomgold. I've looked at this map, I can't tell you how many times, and I never noticed that.
Can you see all the things that they put on the screen when you watch that video?
That might have been where you saw it, Steve.
It's not from it was from another video, but it wasn't. They don't. The one that's the full panel cuts away from it.
Okay.
That's not nice.
I don't know which one I saw that has the Christmas characters.
So describe it. What'd you see?
So they have one. It looks like a guy that's dressed as Death, with like a Grim Reaper type guy.
Yeah.
And then another one that looks like a fairy, and then a third one that looks like not the kind of outfit that the giant wore, the green like robe.
That is sounding familiar.
They're not the DuckTales characters, though. They're just their own characters, right?
Yeah, well, they look like they're from Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're not like the Disney characters.
So maybe they came on the screen and there wasn't much. Maybe they weren't up very quickly and Frank didn't say much.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can hear when he's talking in the full panel video that Inside the Magic has. And he just, this is just some Christmas people. You wouldn't be interested in that. And
Okay.
They try to make it look like all of the people he's showing is not a big deal, but they really are.
Yeah, and everyone wants that Christmas story because we feel like we were kind of cheated there this year. In that all we got was the mention that Scrooge and Santa doesn't get along, so everybody's asking for that that story, and of course Scrooge, A Christmas Carol. Come on, I mean that's going to be exciting come next December. So I think that's it for all the images. There was one question asked that I took a screen capture of, included in the blog. There was a little boy who asked, when will we see Chip and Dale? And the answer was, as soon as they are allowed. I'm going to say that further propitiates my idea that Chip and Dale are off limits until Disney decides whether or not they're doing the live action Rescue Rangers movie.
That's good. That's a good idea.
I found a picture of those three. Sorry.
Yeah, so in the panel, they had little behind the scenes, and Frank and Matt were talking about how when they were pitching the show, they had to go to like Disney Legal, and they're like, "Hey, can we want to use all the DuckTales characters?" And they're like, "Okay, sure, you can use all those." And then we want to use all the comic characters, and they're like, "Okay, you can." And then they were like, "Well, let's see what we can do. Can we use all the Darkwing Duck characters? Sure. Can we use all the tail?" So like they really want to get as much into this as they can because they're fans like us, and they wanted to get as much Disney Afternoon characters in there. So I believe Chip and Dale will be in there, but just not anytime soon. They had some other good questions. Of course, there was a shipping question. Somebody asked about if Magica, because in the comic books, I believe Magica and Gladstone are a couple at some point.
Oh.
And somebody was asking if Magica and Gladstone is Lena like Gladstone's kid with Magica, and it's not really Annie Magica. And I think Frank said no, that's not what's happening, but he did say we'll see more of Gladstone.
Nice.
So that's good. And then somebody asked a question about who's your favorite character. So all the people went through the list of their favorite characters, and of course Frank said Manny for his, and everybody on the stage said, "Yeah, we got to get Fat Mojo to make a Manny figure." So
I think I'd buy that.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? So that was a good note we took away from the watching the panel.
And we already mentioned the pamphlet for Cape Suzette earlier in the show, but I've got an image of it here from IGN, and that is without a doubt a perfect rendering of the Sea Duck.
Yes.
So there's no change to it whatsoever. That is the plane I would expect to see flying over Cape Suzette.
Yeah, and Josh just texted us the Christmas.
Yeah, the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now. When you started describing it, I started to recall it, and yeah, that's definitely a Christmas Carol.
Which is funny because Scrooge, they did the Christmas Carol with Mickey, and Scrooge was in it as Scrooge. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny.
Well, that's going to do it for our Comic-Con coverage on this episode. Just kidding, Casey.
We intentionally left him out.
There was one more image that we saw. And one fan of our show was definitely excited. As soon as I saw it, I tweeted at him with it. And then as soon as I saw that video, because one thing about being able to see the videos from the fans in the audience, there were a lot of people cheering when they saw Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
he was a pretty big character in the original.
So what do you think? Is this the same character that we see the skeleton of?
Yeah, it looks like it's a taller version of Bubba from the classic DuckTales.
He's older.
So, yeah, I feel like that is the skeleton.
Yep, I do too. So I think we're definitely going to find out why Scrooge has it.
Time travel.
It definitely seems like some time travel going on in the next season, which is exciting and fun. So,
yeah, with the whole Klondike image, because that Scrooge, there's an image of a prospector Scrooge. Actually, he doesn't have glasses on, does he? He doesn't. That could be a younger Scrooge.
Well, yeah, you'll find out when you get to that chapter, if from Don Rosa Life in Times of Scrooge McDuck, of how he got the glasses and the whole Klondike era. But it's really cool. So we're getting a Goldie episode again, because she was in that image.
So that image has Fenton and Gyro in it. Is that Fenton?
Yeah,
that's Fenton. And the funny part about the image is, so Gyro's having no part of dressing up at whatever time there.
Right.
He's got no chill. He doesn't care.
Yeah. So I mean, is Scrooge going without his glasses?
Yeah, if he's younger, if he doesn't need them.
So it is. You think maybe Gyro and Dummy go back in time? Is that what it looks like happening? That makes sense.
That could work.
Oh, and we totally didn't talk about the guy we can't pronounce his name either.
Young Glomgold?
Oh, we didn't talk about Young Glomgold.
Pronounce that.
I meant Feathery or whatever his name is.
Feathery, yeah.
I think it's Feathery.
Yeah, Josh did a great blog about that this week, so everybody could read that and check out and get your history on that character.
Yeah, he was big in different parts of the country. I think it was Brazil and and Italy. He was a big character, and he had his own comic series for a while, and so he's got a big following, and just not as well of a known character for us. I don't think he was actually in any episodes of DuckTales.
No, not at all. He's Donald Duck and Gladstone's cousin, so that's what he's doing, showing up in these in this time. And the people that read the comics knew who he was in that panel. And
the Italian comics are very popular. When we first started doing DuckTalks, we had people reaching out to us and asking us if we've read any of the Italian comics, and we were like, no, we don't know how to read Italian. But that character is definitely loved by a large segment of Duck fans, and we've had a lot of interest in that article already. I mean, it's for the day, it's one of the more popular articles already, and we've even had people sharing fan art with us of the character because they're so excited about it. But Young Glomgold, what's up with that? So you think half the season will be traveling through time?
I mean, probably. I mean, it's the only thing we saw of Glomgold the whole panel. So he wasn't in the last few episodes. I mean, that season 1 sizzle reel. So worried about my boy.
It could be just like, oh, when I was a kid, and then like flashback of him too.
Well, he would make himself a lot more handsome than that.
Right. We've seen his self-image. That's great. Well, we still have an episode of DuckTales to talk about, so let's jump right into that. Definitely check out and look for more blogs for San Diego Comic-Con, because we want to share a little bit about our thoughts on like the spotlight that came out today. That's definitely in response to the information that we got at San Diego. That's definitely from the information we received at San Diego. But let's talk about the other bin of Scrooge McDuck. Let's see. I do not have the generator up, so Let's just say Josh does it.
All right. Let me get my
he
timer
did it.
out. I watched it an extra time this week.
That was too easy.
Okay, I'm gonna get my timer out because I tend to do about 3 times the allotted time. Lena tries to steal the number 1 dime, and then we get Bigfoot running around the house. They're trying to make him happy, but he's really conning them. And then Lena goes to try to find a dime. They find a big sword horse, and oh no, I'm and then Magica takes over Lena, and she's gonna try to get the number 1 dime later. I did terrible.
25.79.
Ooh, he still made it under time.
Yeah, you
but
made
I
it under
missed
time.
like so much stuff.
So what'd you miss?
I don't know.
I did.
So the Bigfoot or Tenderfoot or Tenderfeet
Tenderfeet.
is voiced by Sam Riegel, who is the voice director of the show. He also did the voice of Slash. He looks very much like the Goofy movie Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
His real name is Gavin, which is funny. And
Yeah,
it's
like-
fun. Him versus Louie is a really funny exchange.
Yeah, it is. And he's got like Bigfoot friends that he has his phone and he FaceTimes with.
FaceTimes them. He's in a sweet pad.
Yeah, we also got some really cool references to other shows. Like we got a classic Webby scene. I don't know how much we're going to go in depth with it. People need to just watch it. But then there's a Quack Pack reference because there's the main Quack Pack logo of Donald on the ground, and all the kids are kind of just laying on him.
And from what I hear, if anything, it should be off limits. It should be Quack Pack. So we could get anything at this point.
No kid, yeah, seriously.
Just no Daisy in the picture.
The Daisy was missing. Hashtag where's Daisy?
Yes.
So yeah, Quack Pack, couldn't believe that. That was great.
And it's spot on too. There's some images on Twitter where people have shared that the Quack Pack image, and it's a photograph in the background, It's a photograph in the background.
There's also a little snippet where Webby is pulling out information for Scrooge, and she pulls a book that says The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, and it's definitely a reference to the comics of Don Rosa.
Yeah, and she's reading probably word from word for that particular. I think that's probably volume 1 of when he earns his first dime. So that was a cool Don reference there.
You should tweet that to him.
No, see, I turned him around. I met him at MegaCon, and now he loves DuckTales.
Yeah, there was something recently that came out about that. What was that? It was just before Comic-Con that he was asked. Never. Should we talk about this? Let's talk about it.
Skip that. Do you want? We want Tad to come on our show.
We do want Tad on our show. Well, but someone was asking Tad about it, and Tad was like, from what I understand, he doesn't care too much about the Disney afternoon. And I think he was just giving an honest, answer. I don't know that he was being snippy or anything about it. And Don Rosa's Twitter account was like, no, actually, Don thinks it's some of the best animation or cartoons that were made. It's just not his.
Yeah, which is accurate of how you would think he would feel about it.
And I sent that to Pirate, and I said, I'm crediting you this year with warming Don's heart to the Disney afternoon.
It's true. I was there.
Tad, we love you. Come on our show. So what'd you think about, and we're going to get into the deeper side of this here in a moment, but the side story. What'd you think about the boys, like Huey finding a Bigfoot in the woods and bringing it home? And it was hiding in the mansion, in the rafters.
It was totally do you think it was a setup for big, or the Bigfoot? What do they call them? Tenderfeet. I think he was setting up to get into the to the mansion because he was like, "Oh, I can't pull this out." And he's like, "Oh, come over here and help me."
Yeah. And the whole setup with Louis conning Dewey and Dewey getting, I love Dewey's character in that he just gets so excited about something that he throws himself into it. So he's just completely on board with having this Bigfoot live in their house and being like their pet.
Oh, I thought my favorite part was when Louis says, "You just poke the bear."
Yes. And then at the end when they see him off and he gets in close and he's like, what does he say? "I win." I win.
Now go back from whence you came. This is for your own good. Go on. Get out of here. Go. 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 Bye, Tenderfeet. I love you. Have fun living in the gross woods and not our awesome mansion anymore.
Stupid duck with a hoodie.
Yeah, I win, and then he starts smacking him in the face.
I need to gift that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and the best part about it, the writing is so great with these episodes that was the side story. And we're spending so much, we were like, this is a Lena and Webby episode. And they're going, the episode title is The Other Money Bin. And here we are talking about how funny the side story was.
And I think the side story is really there to offset how serious the Webby and Lena story gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were watching it, my wife was like, "Wow, this part is really scary." Where Magica, they do that whole dream sequence where Magica takes over and turns Webby into a doll, and then is like attacking her Alina with the doll. She's like, "Wow, this is actually kind of scary for a kids show."
Yeah, the whole Magica animation has just been so awesome this whole season. It's going to be even more better when she becomes an actual physical person again. It's going to be great. But they've done such a great job on her animation as a shadow.
Mm-hmm. And that scene is intense. Because you don't know it's a dream. It completely catches you off guard. When she turns Webby into a doll, and it's the is it Quacky Patch doll? Is that what it's called? It's the doll. It's the doll that Webby from '87 DuckTales carried around, and we've seen a doll similar to it in the background in Webby's room, with a knife through it in the wall. But she turns her into that doll and then uses her to attack Lena. It's extremely intense for kids. It definitely up there with some of the stuff from Gravity Falls, as far as how intense it kind of gets.
Yeah, and Lena accidentally destroys her with the Power Stone.
Yes.
And then Magica just has the line, "Ooh, she gone."
Right.
Like, wow. That is like what just happened.
That was cutthroat.
Yeah, that was some Infinity War type stuff.
Yeah, she didn't even have to snap her fingers.
Yeah, that was good. That was great writing, great animation. Really an awesome episode.
So what do you think when Lena wakes up and you realize, oh wait, none of this just happened. Webby's right there.
Well, I thought okay, it tests her character where she decides okay, no, I don't want to do this. It actually shows how she cares for Webby as a friend and doesn't really want to she'd rather have Webby as a friend than her freedom for Magica. So to me, it kind of attested that her character in that way, it shows that she's a better person than Magica would be.
Yeah, because up to that moment, even in this episode, there was a little bit of question as to how much was Lena willing to use Webby to get what she wanted. And she does. She decides that she's not. And even though it's a dream, when she wakes up, she decides that she's, that's her decision. She's going to stand on that. And then, of course, we get another twist because you feel like everything's all right. Everybody's getting away, and now she's going to tell Scrooge everything. And then we get another twist, and we're not going to give that away. Let's just say watch the episode and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And another great reference, and we'll do a blog on this week for sure, is that room, it represents Scrooge McDuck's worry room, which is in classic tales and in the comics for sure, where it's just a room where Scrooge McDuck constantly just circles the room, and it kind of like indents the floor in the path of him walking around in circles around his number one dime. So that was cool to see that integrated in the show.
Yeah, I've seen some people asking for that room. So, I've not gotten that far in the comics to realize, its impact, but I have seen images of it before. And wasn't it in 87 DuckTales?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
sure.
and it was pretty deep too. So I think in that show it was up to like his shoulders sometimes. Another great episode. Setting us up for the finale, I believe. Getting us ready for just how intense we've seen the sizzle reel, so we get a little bit of an idea of how intense things are going to get. But I think this episode was a clear indication that we're going to get some, what was it called in Gravity Falls? Not Armageddon, Weirdmageddon.
Yes.
We're going to get some Weirdmageddon type stuff in the first season of DuckTales.
It's going to get pretty weird for sure. Speaking of Gravity Falls, we saw another Bill Cipher, hidden Bill Cipher when Webby shows the slide of the other money bin. There's like an upside down triangle that's yellow with an eyeball. I mean, that people could say that that is just like the Illuminati symbol, but the fact that it's yellow and an eyeball, that kind of makes me feel like it's more a Bill Cipher thing.
And this show has so many connections with Gravity Falls.
Yeah, it's definitely Bill Cipher.
I mean, this is the third time Bill we've seen in this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first time it was a triangle with like legs in the Muppy episode, and then the second one had the bow tie in the Beware the Buddy system, and then this one was yellow. So I mean,
yeah, all the three together definitely confirmed for me. That's what it was. I mean, I've never had any doubt, but put them all together and you've got Bill Cipher. Do any of them have a hat?
The fourth one will have a hat.
We got to watch for one with a hat. Well, so that's going to do it for our review of the episode. It's a great episode. It's an intense episode. Check it out. We also got a short this week, another Dewey Tonight. What was the title of this one?
I think Willie Crash It.
And of course, it co-starred one of our favorite characters, my favorite character, Launchpad. And we got an LP reference. Has anybody called him LP before in the show? In this show?
I don't think so.
That's a Darkwing thing, right? Did they ever call him LP in the original DuckTales? Not that, I mean, like, that stood out. I feel like that's a Darkwing thing, so that stuck out to me. There's a lot in this little short that's hilarious. So Dewey decides he needs to do, in order to get some likes, he needs to do some stunts, because that's what people like, and he wants to give people what they like. And so, of course, he goes to Launchpad for that, and they try to decide whether or not this airboat will crash.
Yeah, these seem like perfect for like the DVD release of the next batch of episodes. I hope they include the Dewey Tonight shorts on it. And the first batch of shorts we had was the Death Trap, which I believe there was 5. So I'm guessing there might be 2 more of these Dewey Tonights before they're done.
Yeah, I like these little shorts that they put in. They don't really advertise that they put them out, but they're cool little like add-ons to the show, things that have happened, and kind of bring a little more to it.
And you gotta follow them on social media, or follow us on social media, so we can tell you that they're doing it. But they're a lot of fun, ton of fun, and I love that they're doing the jokes about the internet and getting likes. And I think Josh pointed out, because I didn't catch this, that he actually loses likes on this one.
he gets a down vote at the very end.
That's right, down votes. So it's a lot of fun. And, Glomgold gets bumped another day.
Maybe the 5th episode will have Glomgold on it.
We at least got to see him. Maybe he starts trying to sneak in.
And then the credits roll.
Right, yeah. That's exactly how they have to do it. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us this week. We've got a pretty lengthy conversation here, so that's going to do it for us. Check us out at DuckTalks.com. Keep up with our blog. We're constantly sharing stuff and trying to keep the conversation going. You can also find us on Twitter at DuckTalks. You can email us. We didn't do an email this week. For those of you who have emailed us, we're sorry. We just had too much to talk about. We will definitely look at all of those emails next week. But you can email us at ducktalkspod@gmail.com, and we'll answer those. And if you don't mind us reading it on the show, make sure we know that we can read it on the show. You can find us individually at Twitter. I am at Infinirama616.
I'm at the Prate Steven.
And I'm at CCRunner524.
You can also check out our Discord. There'll be links in our show notes and on our website. And this episode, we didn't talk about it, was not recorded live. I'm still working on it. As soon as I get it fixed, I'll let you know. But until next time, stay Glom Golden.
Good night, guys.
Stay Glom Golden. What was that?
Woohoo! I don't know what you want to say. I'll check y'all later. Word. Yo.
DuckTalks is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, or audio clips played on this podcast are the property of their copyright holders.
I lost train of thought. Go ahead.